Hello.
There.
Ryan, hand me that chip clip. Welcome to the ASMR podcast. Oh, wait, no.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, pour that one drink. Oh, we're about halfway there. Close again. Close again. That looks about good. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Curtis, do you look forward to watching some of this footage?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't watch
Any?
more than like 30 seconds of our last one.
It was 2 hours.
2 hours, 52 minutes, and some odd seconds.
You threw it straight to video and...
Well, I covered up the transition
Right.
with some of the time lapse, but I forgot to set up the time lapse this week, so better not have any bad transitions.
Okay. Must be on par the entire time.
Or above par.
Or we do the where you go to the rainbow colored screen when we screw up. I enjoyed that.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
Did you watch that one? That was like episode 8, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I think I only watched like the first 3. I don't like watching my own content.
Well, it was my microphone was having issues.
Oh, right.
I just sent it to the...
Did you
baritone.
dub over a couple of times?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. It was like his voice seems so off. I don't.
Really? What are you talking about?
Then why are you here?
Alrighty.
Which is, of course, what Grand Negus's Zek's servant says. I think it's the only time you hear him talk.
The big guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mayhardu.
That's it. Wait, he really talked?
In an orb experience, so it wasn't actually him.
Oh, that makes sense.
But yes, his character technically talked, so we got to hear him, and it's kind of what Curtis was doing, deep.
Yeah.
Then why are you here?
So is that species the same species that serves the betazoids? Same kind of tall? No, it's not the same. But they are tall and...
Right. I mean, they might have retconned it to be the same. I don't know.
No.
Because I know what you're talking about. Balana's... No, not Balana. I can't think of names. Luxana. Troy. Her servant was big, balding, and also pale-faced.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Do you think it would have been cool if they had made an orb experience and they put Morn in and he started talking? Or do you think that would have ruined...
That would have ruined Morn.
All of DS9?
They can still... if CBS turns its mind around on what it's doing with Star Trek, they could do a Morn series.
Yes.
Just Morn walking around. And then you see his mouth open and they cut to something else.
Hours later.
The Morn show is just other people's adventures that occasionally interact with Morn. Like, he just shows up every episode.
I don't mind that.
He travels around the galaxy, so you just go to different planets.
Yeah.
Shows up at the end every time. Oh, hi, Morn. Let me tell you about what just happened. Cut to credits.
Yep.
Alrighty. Who are we?
I'm Curtis.
I'm Noah.
I'm right. No. That doesn't make any sense.
I just made Curtis's head hurt.
Well, it doesn't... People, because of letters, they don't...
That's the joke, Curtis.
So this, In a Mirror Darkly...
Parts 1 and 2.
Yes.
We watched both parts.
Yes.
So I was reading online about it because, of course,
That's what Curtis does.
the idea for this episode apparently originated from Mr. William Shatner.
I was reading about that too, yeah.
He wanted to do a...
Oh, he wanted to reprise his role?
Yeah, well, he wanted to reprise his role as Tiberius. Basically, they were going to discover that in the original Mirror Mirror episode, there was the super like vaporizer machine that had the little control over.
Mm-hmm.
His idea was that it didn't actually vaporize the people that.
Oh, it just sent them to the alternate universe?
Well, no, it sent them to the alternate universe, but also back in time to the alternate universe. So they were it was going to be before the fractured timeline happened, and somehow he and Archer were going to meet up and cause the fractured timeline.
Interesting.
Yep. But yeah, they couldn't.
That didn't happen.
They couldn't agree on terms. Probably Bill wanted like $80 million an episode,
and all the screen time he could have.
Exactly. Probably wanted to throw in some rock monsters too, or maybe talk about.
There is a Gorn in this episode.
That's true. Maybe some of his influence made it. Unfortunately, there were no big mountains to have an affair with.
Oh no, back to the mountain affairs. Oh boy.
Okay. Anyway, I thought that was really interesting.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. It is. So yes, In a Mirror Darkly. It was from season 4 of Star Trek Enterprise, episodes 18 and 19. Originally aired on April 22nd and 29th of 2005.
Quick, everyone lean to the right. We're being shot.
Fire at will.
Poor Will.
Poor Will.
Anyways.
Okay.
2 directors, 1 per episode. And the first part was directed by James Conway. Second part was directed by Martin Rush. The story was written by both Michael Sussman and Manny Coto. IMDb had a decent score, 8.6 out of 10. But I will say the reviews are quite divided when I was looking at it. It's either great reviews saying that this was a great episode or a great 2-part episode, or it was all negative because they're like, they're running out of ideas. Every Trek does this alternate dark universe, and it's always
Voyager didn't.
Yeah, I know. That was the one that I was thinking
Also, Next Generation didn't.
True. So I don't know.
That's 2 out of 5.
It was. Either than that, it was like. Yeah, it was just really mixed. It was either really good or really bad. And to Noah's enjoyment, the music changed for this episode. The opening theme, I should state, it was no longer How My Heart Will Take Me, Where My Heart Will Take Me.
Right,
that one. And instead it was a composition by Kevin Kiner, who has also composed for Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars The Clone Wars, in which he was nominated for multiple Daytime Emmy Awards for his music.
Wow, the Daytime Emmys.
Yeah. And there were some other ones. Yeah.
Nah, I'm being down on the Emmys in general.
Oh, yes.
It's a great theme.
It is.
Good thing I have...
the soundtrack.
Yeah, the super extended soundtrack. Some of those I only made like... I don't know...
Oh my god.
I don't know if it was 300 or 3,000 copies.
I'd imagine 3,000.
Yeah. But I have one of them. Because so many people are interested in that.
So, Curtis, back in 2005, you recorded this episode on VHS.
Yeah, like a lot of episodes.
Do you remember showing that to us and saying it's First Contact, but they added scenes?
Yeah, you psyched us out.
You psyched us out thinking it was like some weird First Contact thing.
I don't remember saying that to you guys. I remember saying it to our dad. Maybe that was the first time you guys had seen it too.
Maybe.
Yeah, I have that memory too. Just I think we got home from school
or something. I don't know.
They're
very
like, we
excited.
want to watch the new episode, and you just tell us right away. It was like they didn't film a new episode. They filmed. It was like First Contact. They put in different scenes, and we're like, what? So we start watching it, and then
up the
Zephram
gun.
Cochrane shoots a guy, and we're like,
Shoots
what?
the Vulcan.
That didn't happen.
Oh.
And then my story to go off of that, because I think I've shown you guys both the behind the scenes stuff from the Star Trek Experience. When they filmed this
Yeah.
episode, they didn't have. They wanted to like get as much stuff from First Contact that they could to film it, just to make it look as normal or as a part of the movie as they
accurate
could
as possible.
Yes. So they went to the Star Trek Experience and they took Zephram Cochrane's coat from the Museum of the Future, and they had to like have it safely guarded. And they
What happens to the guy who loses the coat? He's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoops.
So I thought that was kind of cool that they like we need to be this accurate.
Yeah.
So
I just love that when their inserted footage is very clearly not
yeah,
in the from the movie, because it's like some really fake looking pine trees, and there's no buildings in the background at all. When they were 5 seconds ago when they were using First Contact footage. Oh, wow.
There's the other random dude that
Right, that guy with
that's
the
that
beard.
one guy.
It's like, wait, he wasn't in the movie at all.
I remember being like confused about where's Captain Picard? He was right there. But no.
Not in this alternate universe.
No. So then we fade to this theme music.
Right.
That's the
I was reading they used a lot of different Paramount film pieces for some of the title sequence.
Yes.
Just like
The General
submarines
Wars
and
now.
stuff, yeah.
And then there's 3 seconds of Voyager in there also.
Right. And First Contact, right? No, they didn't use the.
Yeah, I think the
yeah,
Phoenix.
They do. They
Yeah,
put the
that's
Phoenix
still in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's the Enterprise fighting the Xindi at the end.
Mhm.
It's like, huh, interesting.
Mm.
Enterprise with the Empire logo on it.
Right. They had to re-render a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
with the yellow paint job.
I would imagine the Federation conquered the Xindi.
Maybe.
Probably.
Possibly.
What did ISS stand for?
International Space Station.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
I know. Yes. But in the Empire, what did
Imperial spaceship, perhaps?
that guess? I don't know.
Starship instead
Imperial
of spaceship,
maybe,
to sound more Star Trek-y.
but no longer the NX-01. It is ISS Enterprise
Neat.
with Captain Forrest.
Captain Forrest instead of Admiral Forrest.
Yeah.
Right.
He's alive.
Yep.
Right.
'Cause he just died a few
died.
episodes before.
Earlier that season
Yeah.
when they fixed the Vulcans.
Yes.
Not to worry. He'll die again.
That's the great part about this two-parter. Like, 90% of people die.
Well, what was cool is they brought in a lot of guest stars, and they brought in Saval to
Right.
to be a part of it, and
Then he dies.
yeah, it was perfect because they were like, we could kill off all these characters and it
doesn't
wouldn't matter.
matter.
Yeah. So moving forward, we start in the interrogation area.
Right. The introduction of the booth.
Yes, they just developed it.
Torturing a Tellarite for some reason. All Tellarites are guilty of something. It's what Reed says.
Yeah, even Reed was like, I don't know what he did. He was,
He's
just
probably
here.
late for his shift.
Yeah.
That deserves torture. What a great universe.
Yikes.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of back and forth between Archer and Forrest, no matter what, and And Archer, you can tell in this timeline, he's very
He's aggressive.
very aggressive and
It's kind of stupid.
a little he's a little paranoid, I guess. And
Well, he becomes kind of crazy in the second part.
he does. He definitely
And not
he has
kind of,
some-
he actually becomes crazy.
he has some very like Shakespeare moments.
Yes.
And they bring up Shakespeare in this
In
in
part
the second in the second part. So yeah.
I think it's great that he's like, he really is like Shakespeare incarnate, or not Shakespeare, Caesar incarnate, where he's like, I'm the leader of the empire, and he couldn't see it coming, even though it's like, if you put 5 seconds of thought into this, you should expect everyone to try to kill you.
Yep.
Yep.
But he's
No,
like
but
the
he's-
one person who doesn't kill everyone else. He locks up Forrest, doesn't execute him. He
Yeah.
takes the Tholian captive, doesn't execute him right away. He
He has illusions of his his opposite dimension.
counterpart.
Yeah.
All right.
But then he learns about his counterpart, and he becomes less like that and
Yeah.
more just kind of homicidal.
So I guess it was very Shakespeare-ish.
Yeah, it's great
It's a pretty good story.
in a horrible sort of way,
Yep.
or maybe excellent. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I mean, it's fun.
So where?
Well,
What's the
Archer,
start of?
Yeah.
Archer and Forrest have their exchange, and Archer's like, I have this idea, this mission I want to do, and he's like, no, we've got to link up with the fleet or whatever. And very quickly after that, Archer takes command.
Yep.
He deposes Forrest.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it's just a mutiny.
Part 1 is like mutiny, reverse mutiny, reverse mutiny. Up, the ship blew up.
Yep.
Yeah, more or less, and some exposition in the middle.
Oh yeah. There's some good exposition in there. But yeah, I don't remember how long between those two scenes. I think Forrest and Hoshi have a scene together, and then Archer like takes over or whatever.
Something like that.
I don't remember. It's a little fuzzy on the whole good bad thing. What's bad?
Bad. Yeah. So, and I get after Archer does mutiny against Forrest, there is another kind of Shakespeare moment where he calls to Paul into the captain's
Oh right, he
quarters
shows her the
where-
gun.
Yeah, the gun that
He's got the-
Zephyr Cochrane shot the first Vulcan, and he's like showing it off to her because you're a Vulcan. Never forget that. Like, okay, so very, very Shakespeare-ish.
It's great.
Yeah.
The
And-
wall of guns.
Yeah, guns, swords, rather than paintings of
Previous enterprises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, she was in there because she was like, yes, these orders appear to be authentic because he forged orders from Starfleet.
I'm amazed that she didn't figure that out, and Hoshi Sato did.
I think that T'Pol knew they were fake. She was playing along,
Oh, okay.
playing the long con to take command back. Because she says later, the orders were obviously fabricated.
Okay.
Fabricated. Can't talk.
So she was just doing a
She was
ploy.
placating him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's now Captain Archer
Right.
for a little while. He makes T'Pol his first officer, even though
Reed
she's
was
like,
next in line,
Yeah.
and she's a Vulcan.
Yeah, so he's like, this is my way of saying thank you.
For allowing us to use
Yeah.
your technology to advance our civilization?
Yes.
Is his line of reasoning? Interesting. Just a little crazy,
He's just starting to get a little crazy.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten there yet. He's not having the hallucinations yet.
Yeah.
In this episode, he's got a lot of very dramatic head turns.
Yes.
What are they? What do they mean?
I feel like that's just how the mirror universe was. Like, going back to TNG, I think that they did some stuff like that, But then, like, we get to DS9. They did a lot of dramatic stuff. So maybe they're just
I
I
playing
have to go and rewatch them all.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Emperor throws his chair. That's a great scene.
Evil Kira Nerys, I remember she was often very
Oh, yeah.
conniving, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, you just reminded me of that episode where they brought Burial back from the Mirror Universe.
That's right.
It's like 2 seasons after they killed him off. Here he is. Oh, okay. Sure.
Maybe they thought that was going to be their yesterday's Enterprise.
Perhaps. But alas,
Yeah.
the ship, whom I love like a woman, is disabled.
Oh, Lord.
Fitting because we go to an original series bridge.
It's very true. So
But anyways,
they have to get the cloaking device.
right, he's got a
working.
Suliban cloaking device.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So that was interesting. 'Cause
Trip has a bit of exposition about why he's all scarred. He's talking to T'Pol.
Working next to a warp reactor.
I'm gonna be dead by the end of the week. Well, that's probably true, but not for the reasons you think.
Yeah. So they there's a malfunction and exploding power cable connected to the cloaking device. It blows up and knocks out the cloak sensors,
Internal sensors.
internal sensors. Were communications down too?
Not explicitly stated. So allegedly T'Pol did that some other way. When she takes control back for Forrest.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Archer and Hoshi are getting it on.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. and she gets around. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wants to become the Empress.
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah, she spoilers.
Spoilers for an episode from 2005.
Yeah.
It's been 15 years, guys.
That's weird. It's 15 years.
15 years.
Maybe they'll reboot Enterprise.
That'd be cool.
Retcon the last episode.
I mean, I'd be okay with that, but otherwise,
It's almost been that amount of time. They can start right over. Don't kill Trip off.
Yeah.
well, I mean, they could kill him off. It was just like there's really no build up to it. He just kind of dies, and it's like, oh, that character that we've known for 4 years is now dead.
Yeah. Cut out all the Riker.
Nonsense.
Yep.
That's right. We were talking about because I wasn't quite sure how many episodes were left in the season after
2.
this. And
2.
And it was just like only 2. We don't count the last one. Then it would be 3, but we don't count that, so it's only 2.
We don't. Oh, no.
Because there are a lot of to be continued and 3B continued episodes in this whole
Yes.
season. There aren't a lot of
allows
like,
them to tell stories.
yeah. There aren't a lot of like one-off, kind of whatever things that happen.
There are a couple, but they're
'Cause-
mostly bad.
Yeah. Because I feel like this season it was like the
Hey,
most
let's set up
like
to the original series.
yeah, it was like the most. Let's bridge this to the original series.
Well, you know why? Because Rick Berman and Brian Braga, like, they gave up control to other people. So they're still executive producers on it, but they basically said they just like go do it to other people. So yeah.
Cool.
I forget who took over, but she was like, all right, let's turn this into an actual setup for the original series. So that's why they have the 3-parter fixing the Vulcans, and then they're set up for the Andorians and the Romulans and all this other stuff.
Yeah, they could do actual Archer and the Romulan War. I mean, that would be outstanding.
That was supposed to be season 5, I think.
Archer and the Romulan War?
Yes, the Romulan War.
Well, I think the Romulan War was supposed to be... Was it?
Yeah.
I can't remember the dates. I'd have to go back and look. As it was set up in the original series.
Oh,
anyway.
well.
I mean, I guess they could shift the timeline around.
I mean,
make it
they
work.
did that, didn't they? Shift the timeline a bit, a couple times
Yeah.
to
Oh,
make
for
everything.
the con stuff.
Yeah.
And all that. But yeah. Anyway.
I would say minor date shifting would have been like the least of their worries if they'd actually gotten to it, because they did set up the Romulans with that. And they also fixed the Klingons.
Yep. Got ridgeless Klingons.
It's great. It's great. So anyways, T'Pol eventually takes control back for Forrest, gets him out of jail. But Archer sent off information to the fleet admiral, insurance policy.
Yeah, and encrypted the nav computer.
Right. Hadn't gotten there. So they have control of the ship, but they can't steer the ship because he was like, we're going there. Computer, encrypt yourself. Beep. It's a random encryption. I don't know how to do it.
Well, they said that they could.
It would take
decrypt it. It would
days.
take days, and it's like we'll arrive there long before that.
The bridge is yours. With his very 2003 shirt on. It's got
Oh yeah,
the
that's
lines.
right.
Striped shirt.
Man, it's such a Shakespeare Captain Archer. It's so good.
Ugh.
Can you imagine if the whole series would have been that?
Oh man.
I bet people would have like revolted. Give us our favorite Trek back. Something, they wouldn't have been happy.
I mean, with the amount of characters that they kill off, I don't see how that's sustainable.
Every season would it be like
Just a new cast, like every couple of episodes.
Yeah. Is that? It isn't Stranger Things. There's some show where every season it's just new characters. It's on it was
Black
on
Mirror?
Netflix. No, well, that's like every episode. Isn't
Right.
Every season it's new characters. American Horror Story?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
No, I don't watch that.
Yeah. Well, there are like a couple of characters that
Pop up
kind
now
of,
and again?
Yeah. Kind of interconnect
I
them.
haven't watched any of it, so.
I haven't either. I knew
He
of
knows
that.
things.
I know. I drink and I know things.
He knew where I was going with that reference.
Okay, so they get command back,
Right.
and then Forrest after. Oh yeah, we should also say
Forrest
so.
puts Archer in the booth for 10 hours.
Yeah.
10 hours in the booth. Amazing. Flox is just enjoying it.
That's the other part of this whole arc that we loved. It was Flox super evil doctor, like madman doctor.
This is just great.
Because we cut back to him a couple times where he's just, cutting into a couple different animals and just like looking at them for whatever reason.
Some crazy experiment he's working on.
Because they bring that up later and kind of
Right.
kind of the I guess the final climax of the
Yeah. The
arc.
big hoorah.
Almost the last one. It's pretty close. But
We'll get there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or will we?
Oh, but then Forrest lets him out because
Right. The fleet admiral was like, yeah, okay, we'll do it. We're already stuck on this heading. You might as well look into it. And the fleet admiral kept Archer alive.
Yep.
nice.
So they're on their way. They have to get the cloak working since they're deep in Tholian space. We forgot to mention that they also threw Trip into the thing for a few hours. Or Archer did.
Archer threw Trip in because there was reason to suspect Trip had sabotaged the cloak. Because he had sabotaged the cloak, but he didn't remember doing it.
Yes. Because
That's right.
it was revealed that T'Pol did a mind meld.
Mind melded
thing.
with him.
And it's a good thing that the whole Vulcan episode happened before this so that they could explain how Vulcans can do this now.
I mean, maybe this alternate universe, the Vulcans never became crazy like that.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah. Not sure.
Who knows?
But so they have to get the cloak working. It eventually does.
They have a briefing.
Archer.
Briefing of exposition.
Yes. How the whatever the Tholian people launched some sort of super warhead. What kind of blast was it?
Don't remember.
Subsonic something. I don't know.
Created a rift into another universe.
Yes.
Parallel to our own.
Oh, is that what the explanation? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Tholians.
It was the Tholians on this side, but then there are Tholians on the other side also,
Right.
which very slowly create a web against the USS around the
Yeah.
USS Enterprise.
Yep. These ones are like super fast and
Yeah.
efficient. So.
They must have figured out that the Enterprise was trying to wait for dear old Captain Kirk.
Oh, so they were taking their
They're
time.
like, let's preserve our energy. Just crisscross.
Let's let them save Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
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 Actually, I haven't watched that episode with the updated effects. You know, I have it on Blu-ray where you can choose old or new.
Right. It's still super slow.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, they have to stretch out that.
They've got an
That
episode
story.
to stretch out.
Yeah. So Archer explains that not only is it from another universe, it's from another time.
But 100 years in the future.
Yep. And he gets all of his information from secondhand sources.
Right.
And the secondhand sources made the what was it? I just lost the word.
Maybe.
Brain go squish.
Brain pan go squish.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that train of thought trailed off. But anyways, they're
No.
they're
keep
looking
going.
at pictures of the Defiant. It's like, ooh, neato.
Yeah. It looks so familiar.
Very familiar.
Wow.
Except this one actually has a different registry number. That's weird. I don't remember that. Used to be 1701. Huh. Well, I think that's part of the brilliance of them perfectly recreating all of those sets, or well, near perfectly, is that episode was probably made to some degree to save the budget because we can just reuse all these sets we have. That's why they would have used a different Constitution class ship to go to and investigate.
Right.
I would imagine. Anyways.
Bet you're right.
Yeah. It's handy that all the Federation ships are all Constitution classes at that point.
Well, you know, they had almost as much money as Doctor Who did
Oh, yeah, at that time.
at that time.
Still pretty cool. And so they keep talking for a little bit about how, who knows, they're another Terran Empire, another Starfleet. And Forrest doesn't want them to... Well, Forrest is already, like, not really believing that it's actually there. It's just... We'll see if there's anything there when we get there. So they get the cloak working, and it's, cloaked Enterprise.
Gotta figure why they weren't using this beforehand if they had a Suliban cloak laying around.
That is weird.
Strange. Oh well.
Just gotten it.
Just
picked that baby up.
mint out of the box. And DePaul had to go and ruin it.
Oh, man. So they eventually get there after a few hours. However long
it took.
They get to the asteroids, and they're like, nothing there, just a bunch of asteroids. And Archer, like, knows,
That one.
go to that one.
Right on the
there.
far right.
His source.
Yep.
Well, the explanation was that the Tholians have to, because they can't exist in that environment, they require their extreme environments or whatever, that they would have to use humanoids as slave labor.
Right.
So presumably, Archer was talking to the slavers that brought in the labor.
Was it before they got to?
Yes.
Yeah, before they got there, another Tholian attacked them before they got the cloak working.
Right. They took him captive.
All right. So that was the first time we ever actually got to see.
No.
Well, we saw a Tholian at one point, but it was just like the image of it.
Yes.
So we didn't really know.
In the episode where with the Tholian web.
Yep. Mirror, mirror. Or
The Tholian web.
Yeah, this one makes that matte painting a little more computer generated and movable,
Yep.
mobile.
It's almost like it's a real thing now.
It's like a weird crab thing.
It's got 6 legs.
Well, they always talked about how they're supposedly a non-humanoid species. They spoke about that earlier on in the series when they, in the main universe, they had come across some other Tholians.
Okay.
Apparently Starfleet already knew, or the Vulcans knew.
Is that episode with the Zephyr Cochrane time ship? The
That
Tholians come to steal it?
I think so.
It's bigger on the inside?
Yes.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Right.
The Tholians show up to steal the time ship.
Yep. I guess they just
Completely unrelated.
Yeah. So
They took the captive. They took a Tholian captive. Got it to tell them which system the ship, the Defiant, was being held.
Yeah. And we got creepy evil Dr. Phlox. He's like, oh, I'll make him fracture.
Exoskeleton's beginning to fracture. He looks so delighted.
Yeah.
You're angry now. Just wait.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. It's good.
It's good Phlox.
Yeah. So Forrest is like, all right, Archer, you'll lead the away team. Bring back all the data you can, then we'll blow up the ship.
Destroy it.
Destroy it.
We have to take it with us. Which,
Forrest doesn't agree with.
yeah.
He's the captain. Then he sends T'Pol with to kill him.
Yeah. It's like, just in case.
Archer doesn't come back from this mission alive. Yikes.
Yeah. It's a very dark track.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. This is like dark track.
But it's fake Dark Trek because it's in the alternate universe.
That's why it's the darkest track.
You know something else? Forrest sent like all the people who mutinied against him. Was T'Pol gonna kill them all? With the exception of Trip.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, actually, because when Trip is being tortured, he talks about how I've always been loyal to you.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like he was disloyal to Forrest in any way. He was just like, I'm an engineer. I'm just gonna keep tinkering with my engine.
Suppose.
Don't kill me.
Dying of radiation.
Yeah. Stands too close to that warp engine. Yeah. So they get on board. They're looking around. They find a phaser, and Reed is like super excited. He's like, "I can hold that for you." Whoa.
Archer puts it straight into his belt.
Uh-huh.
And we get up to the bridge, and they make that connection to the Tholian web where they scan the captain. It's like his neck is broken, which
Wide angle shots, so you barely notice that the random extras that they put in those uniforms aren't the same people.
Yep.
I wonder if they even tried. They try to match it at all.
I have no clue.
I bet they didn't.
I'm not paying attention to it. Curtis, they matched the bridge. Can you ask for much more?
Yeah. Spent a couple $100,000 on rebuilding
Building
that
a bridge,
Yeah.
which they used for an episode and a half.
It was pretty cool.
All the
really
noises.
Yeah.
Well, they had all those sound effects sitting on a
I know,
soundboard
yeah.
somewhere.
I know, but still.
Hooked it into the
Man,
computer.
all of those like multicolored flashing light panels
Oh, it's so
everywhere.
great. It's so great.
It's the gumdrop buttons. Man, I'm surprised like they were able to figure out how to use all of that because it just looks confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, excuse me.
So, because there's no power to the ship, they can't download the schematics. So Trip has to reroute power, reinstate power. I don't remember. He's got to get power.
Yeah.
So he does that.
He's got to bypass a bunch of stuff.
The Tholian they had taken captive wakes up,
Yep.
and he sends out his little distress signal.
Oh, yeah. Would you please kindly die?
Would you kindly die? Yes. Forest orders Flux to kill the Tholian. He does, but the Tholians have already figured out where they were, and they create a web, a Tholian web.
Yes.
But it's really fast. It doesn't take 45 minutes.
Yep.
Maybe were there more Tholian ships at this place?
Yes.
I think that's what it was.
But in the Tholian web, they had to out of the backs of their ship it came out of, so they had to go up and down and up and then left and right to create the web instead of just shooting the web out from each of the ships.
It's funny because that episode, the Tholian Web, that won an award for their special effects.
Well, I mean, the effects work isn't bad. It just takes a long time. Very slowly.
Got another line done.
The episode's only at 40 minutes. Make those lines longer. Oh, okay. We'll add the lines back and forth now.
I noticed one thing about Captain Archer when everything is not going his way. He kind of curls up a couple times and he's in a fetal position a few times. You see it on occasion when they kind of try to not focus in on it, but you can definitely see it in the background where he's just
I mean, he's really crazy by that point.
He's just starting to get crazier, I think.
No, that's mid crazy.
Okay.
We'll call it mid crazy.
Okay. Mid crazy. So
they get power back, which includes power to the sensors. T'Pol looks in the spocoscope.
Yes.
Yes.
The Enterprise is under attack.
I should just build one right here on the desk.
That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
I could put that.
That'd be neat.
Looking okay.
Go for it.
I like it. Yeah.
Maybe not. Who knows? Only time will tell. The Enterprise is under attack, so Trip has to work to get power to every system so that they can help the Enterprise, because the Enterprise goes boom.
Right. Kaboom boom.
Kaboom.
And that's the end of the first episode?
Not
Close?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that is.
Kind of like the to be queued?
Yeah. I'm sorry, the episode's meshed together.
Right.
Yeah.
Forrest ordered the ship to be abandoned.
Yes.
Then he went down with the ship.
I didn't understand why he did that, because it was just there's really nothing he could really do at that point, because the weapons were gone, the engines are gone. How he even states when he tells Hoshi to leave, I'll give you as much time as possible. How? You can't do anything.
Through the power of math.
I
Curtis knows what I'm talking about.
Let's talk about alternate timelines.
Let's have a conversation about parallel universes. I lured you into a discussion about watch for rolling rocks and half an A press.
Gosh. Yeah, that's right. A half
A press.
Half A press.
An A press is an A press. You can't say it's only half.
So we open up, and that's when they get more controls of the Enterprise.
Oh, right, yeah.
All right, they get power restored, and
Yeah.
oh, let's fire some phasers.
First, they raised shields because they didn't have weapons to weaken the clamps. Then they broke the clamps free with thrusters.
Are you powering up the clamps?
All right, then there was a
I
tractor
just watched
beam.
that episode.
Tractor beam locked onto him.
Tractor beam. And he's
Archer
like, I
got
need
angry.
weapons now.
So he fires a phaser, an aft phaser, and then we find out there are aft torpedoes.
They're armed.
Yes.
Higher.
Blows up the whole asteroid.
They take in the prisoners, or not prisoners. They take in the
Escape
pods
crew.
and they get underway. They're trying to
Limping
meet
along
back with the
at
fleet.
impulse.
They're trying to get warp drive, and Trip is like, I don't even know what half these systems do. And he's like, and in reality, that's a pretty valid point.
You wouldn't know what any of that meant.
Yeah. And Archer is like, I don't care. You have 6 hours or whatever. It's like, he gives them a lot of deadlines in this universe that are like ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Like, if you kill Trip, who's only begun to learn things, then you've got the next guy who hasn't even started learning things. And if he has the same deadline, you're just going to have a lot of dead engineers.
So how do they start? They start interrogating the blue dude.
Yeah.
That's after the whatever couplings were stolen from the Jeffries too.
But they did say that they wanted the prisoners to help them, and they were like,
Oh, right.
keep them under guard.
T'Pol was like, we could use the prisoners or the slaves because they might understand the systems, having taken them apart.
Yeah.
At least they would know where things went,
Yeah. Probably.
or at least some of them would. Who knows how many slaves the Tholians killed?
Duotronics.
Duotronic.
Him
So
or the-
high tech.
He or the reptilian, because we don't know it's a Gorn yet.
Right.
Just state he's reptilian. Gorn. Yes. And that was a pretty cool reveal, because it's like, that's another original television series.
They stuffed in so many references.
Yeah. But this Gorn did not have super sparkly eyeballs.
That's true.
He had actual.
His head was also
eyeballs.
far more articulated.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
it could actually move
Yeah.
lots of ways. Although
It wasn't
It's
just.
also CG.
in the remastered
blinks.
versions, yeah, they added
the Ewoks.
Like the Ewoks, exactly.
Yep, I'm aware.
I like
Curtis,
Curtis Ewoks, though. It's a little bit more. I don't know. Normal.
In the remaster of the arena, the Gorn only blinks like twice.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
He's a reptile. How many times does a reptile blink?
I don't know. I've never owned a reptile.
Usually they're just like staring at you from the side of their face. They're like,
The other two raptors, you didn't even know were there.
right.
Phlox makes a comment about Velociraptor.
Right.
as
Which is specifically because Jurassic Park had come out. Because real velociraptors are a lot smaller than in that movie.
True. So, they
Random fun facts with Noah.
So then what happens?
So then what happens? Well, then the couplings get stolen, and the guy goes to look for him and gets bitten by.
That's a.
It's like, oh, the reptilian dude.
Yep.
And it's Gorn.
Then what? Archer gets all angry. I'll do it myself.
Well, I think.
That's at the very least that's after he and Hoshi are going through the historical
That's
files.
right.
Oh,
'Cause They discover
right.
their alternate selves, and they discover that there was no empire. Instead, it was a.
Federation of Planets.
Yes. Interspecies alliance.
I just love Hoshi walks in and he's like, "Look at my new uniform." It's like, "What are you wearing?" It's like he's got the green uniform on. Nice.
Great men are not peacekeepers. Great men are conquerors.
Very Caesar.
Oh man. They so they go back and forth on the things that their counterparts from the Prime universe had done. Mm-hmm.
2 planets were named after Archer.
Yes. At that time, by TNG, there were 4.
They go to Archer 4.
Archer 4.
Archer 4.
Right.
It all comes back.
Yes. that's how they set this whole Star Trek Enterprise
That was a
up.
long game.
Yes.
The long con was
all
to
32
explain
writers.
Archer 4.
Yeah, all 32 writers of yesterday's Enterprise knew that one day there'd be a Captain Archer.
Yes. Yes.
That's why they never cut the line.
Why would it have been cut?
Because they needed to explain.
Needed to explain what? There was
Archer
just a
4,
planet named Archer 4.
They knew.
They
They're
knew.
smart.
They knew.
Yes.
20 years later, that would pay off.
Yep. Critical. So I think it's at this point, then they're discussing the Gorn on the ship.
Right.
And Archer looks at his captain's chair, and there's the hallucination version of Archer.
No, we skipped over the blue guy interrogation.
Oh, yeah. His name is Slar. He's our slave master.
Such a great blue alien.
Kind of reminds me of first episode of Mandalorian.
Kind of, yeah.
The blue alien
yeah.
played by
Well, whatever
it
that
was
guy's
some
name was.
famous
Yeah,
comedian.
some famous comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He tells them about he's a Gorn.
He's a Gorn. Then we have hallucination.
Hallucination Archer.
It's like, I wouldn't let him just run around. I'd go get him
My
myself.
ship was in danger. I took command of the situation. Put an assault team together. I'll lead it myself.
He gets in
Archer's being goaded by his own hallucinations.
oh yeah,
he gets in the turbo lift, and there's hallucination Archer again. And you pointed out it's like the lighting's not even the same
Right.
between the two of them.
It's very clearly like one's on a green screen somewhere and they just composited it together. It's like, oh, that doesn't match.
So they go and hunt. They're hunting the Gorn, and Reed is with them, and they set up a
split
little
up.
team. Mm-hmm.
They set up a trap.
Yeah. Well, they go around the corner and they find it's just a communicator.
all right.
It's original television series communicators that they're all using now.
Isn't it great?
Yep. So they have these big.
Yeah.
And, so Reed gets mad, and he's like, "Shut that thing off!" And then the Gorn has
That
his
was
own
annoying.
communicator. He's like, "Okay."
Presses
blow
a
up.
button. It's got a remote control. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Goes, it's a trap! Boom.
Yeah.
And amazingly, he doesn't die.
Well,
We're not sure.
we're not sure if he dies or not.
Oh, I
'Cause,
thought.
well,
oh, right.
Flux-
He was in critical condition
yeah,
or something.
Flux was
Yeah,
like, he could go either way, and then we never learn.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because the episode ends.
Yeah.
Well,
He probably did die because, well, spoiler, Phlox ends up
oh, right.
getting
Flux
captured or
probably
think
killed.
probably killed.
One would imagine.
So they no longer have a doctor. So I think it's safe to say Reed
Yeah.
died.
Probably.
Lots of deaths.
Yeah.
Paul is dead too.
It's an
then.
alternate universe. I can kill all the characters
kill
if I really want.
Like that time they killed Quark.
Yeah. Yes.
Quark.
Oh, another thing that we didn't really talk about at all is Ensign Mayweather. He's no longer Ensign, he's a Mako.
Oh, yeah.
And he becomes Archer's bodyguard for like
His personal guard.
yeah, for like the majority of this whole arc.
Right.
And he doesn't have a whole lot of lines.
Nope. He stands there, he
just
looks
stands-
intimidating.
He's got a like bodyguard earring now
Yeah.
for some reason. So yeah, he looks tough. It's very tough.
You know, he winds up getting the best of the situation, all things considered.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he also got his own red shirt. That was kind of cool.
But he didn't die in it.
That's very true.
But I do like when they first beamed over to the Defiant in part 1, the first body they see is a red shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
He's got like a big old like
All right, yeah.
looks like
it's got a
something
hole in his
exploded.
chest.
And so Gorn blows up Reed.
Archer sets another trap on deck whatever with the
the grav plating.
Well, that's what they use when he first talks to T'Pol about it. He's like, access environmental controls, and that's all he says. It's like, oh, okay. You're gonna do something. Not sure what though.
Yep.
So then we get a great CGI. Well,
It's okay.
It's
like fine.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. CGI Gorn.
I will say when Archer is hitting the Gorn, that actually lines up pretty well when he's
Yeah.
like elbowing it, but then the Gorn's like holding his wrists and it's like,
Yeah. I suppose at the time,
it's
we
2004.
didn't. Yeah, it's 2004.
Or 5.
2005.
Whenever they
we didn't
finished
have it. Not everybody didn't really have HD TVs quite yet, so you watch it on whatever 720 or
Star Wars Episode 2 had come out 3 years before.
yeah. So it looked pretty good. I
the
remember
time.
at the time. But watch it in HD now. It's like it's a little off.
We were watching that in standard def, Ryan.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
on the DVD.
Oof.
Also, there is no... Wait, yes, it's in HD. They filmed in HD.
I believe. Well, yes, they filmed. I don't know if it was in
Hasn't it
HD or on actual film, which is
Right.
HD. But yeah, and the DVD I think is
DVD has to be standard def for file size.
well, right, regular DVD, but Blu-rays and CBS All Access I think is 720p. From
That's
what I
not
can
too
remember,
bad, all things considered.
I think. I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't remember.
Yeah. In any case.
So Gorn is eating the other dude at this point, or at least throwing him against a wall.
Right, he throws him against the wall and then turns around to kill Archer. Archer's limping across the floor, dragging himself.
And,
Phones up to Paul again. It's like,
no.
now.
So then,
Makes the grav plating go up, so it's super gravity.
then the other Makos come in, and Archer's like, "Give me your gun."
Shoots it 6 times.
Yeah, I think it's dead, Captain.
Never did enough.
Yeah. So they're like, "Okay, good, that's taken care of."
To get the warp engines going, and then they meet up in
The Fleet Admiral.
right.
Yeah, Black or
Admiral.
something.
Black. Yes. Admiral Black.
Yes. And they invite him. They destroy all of the other ships. T'Pol argues, or not really argues, she suggests, don't kill the Vulcans. The Vulcans are nice.
They're
But Archer's
no threat
like,
to us.
fire when ready.
Destroy them.
And then, so Vulcans die and T'Pol gets sad. And then
The last ship he lets go.
I think those were Endorians.
Yeah.
So he's like, let them know what happened here. So
I mean, to be fair, he did just like
massacre them.
backhand 4
Yeah.
ships. Just, fired some shots. They're dead now.
It's good they never really mention like how many torpedoes were on the ship, because they're like, we can use as many as we want. We never said how many we have. So
I assume they have a decent complement.
probably.
Invites Admiral Black over.
Right. See the Defiant yourself.
It's like, you have the authority to do a battlefield promotion.
Admiral Black's not having it.
And
And then more hallucination Archer. He's never going to give you this ship. You'll wind up captaining a garbage scow. You'll wind up a historical footnote. The Empire owes you a great debt, Commander. That's Captain. You're relieved. Shoots him. Vaporizes him.
Vaporize, yeah.
great one-liners.
By hallucinating Jonathan Archer.
Yeah. So, Fleet Admiral, he's dead.
He's dead.
And
Archer stays a captain, doesn't take the rank of Fleet Admiral. Interesting. I suppose he's going to be the Emperor in like 5 minutes. He decides, it's time for me to rule the Empire.
yeah. So he calls everybody over to the Avenger,
Yes.
which the NX ship that looks exactly like Enterprise.
Right.
And he does his big speech.
With the 15 extras they could rouse together.
Yeah. And Saval is there.
All's there. There's an Andorian. There's a Orion slave girl.
Yep.
There's a Tellarite.
Yep.
If
there.
anything, Starfleet already had some good diversity in this timeline or this universe. So
You know,
they weren't really like happy with them being there, but
They were-
at least they were there.
they were second-class citizens, but they were there.
But they were there.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yikes. So gives this big evil speech how he's going to take over. And I think at this point Archer communicates with Admiral
Something.
the other admiral who's back on Earth, who's telling him, no, don't come to Earth. Why are you, if you come any closer, why are you getting ready to shoot us or whatever?
No, that's closer to the end, maybe? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
The
Order
admiral,
of events.
in either case, Admiral's like, don't come to Earth. Do not come shoot us.
All right.
And that's when T'Pol starts thinking like he's going
He's going to kill us all.
kill us all. Calls up Saval and they meet up, and she's like, come on, we have to do something. Are you loyal to the Empire or not? He's going to kill the Emperor and whatever.
She's going to destroy that ship. I think we skipped over to Paul talking to Phlox about the historical database.
That's right. Because that's when he mentions that Reed might live, maybe not. We don't know.
We don't know. Could go either way. And then they're talking about Shakespeare.
Yes.
Shakespeare was equally grim in both universes. Wow.
Yep. So
They've got that nice little cube food.
yes, cube food. And they're eating starfruit. I noticed that.
That's true.
Yeah. So I was like, that looks tasty.
Looks like the 60s. Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Bask in that 60s
wanted-
design.
they wanted to make it visually appealing, I suppose.
Yep.
Oh, there was another thing that we noticed when they were in the ducts or whatever.
The-
Jeffrey's tubes?
Yeah.
Well, no, the Jeffries tubes is that one tube set that they rebuilt very faithfully, but then they go up into like service crawlways, I guess,
They have
which
the-
is just a redress of the Enterprise's like corridors that they use in several episodes, and it's a well done redress because they've got some really cheesy neon green lights and then tinfoil on the walls,
Oh, yeah.
and then they painted all the piping so that it
they're all different colors, and we're just like, that's pretty accurate.
looks right.
Yeah.
Par for the course.
So, and that was the really good thing about this episode, that they really went for recreating
Everything.
everything.
Yep, that's that bridge, all right. Look at that chair.
They had 3D chess in a couple scenes.
I missed that.
Yeah.
They rebuilt that briefing room.
The briefing room.
They reused Michelle Barrett's voiceover for the computer when they used it that one time. Working. Could you hear the gears turning? That 1960s computer.
And so I think it's at this point they start discussing like how they're going to try to destroy Defiant or T'Pol and
Right.
Saval.
She's like, I'll get the schematics, and then we just have to like disable it somehow and then blow it up.
I think it's at this point we get the Archer is like, oh, they're in complete dark with
Right, with Hoshi.
with Hoshi, and he's like, I'm going to get rid of all the non-Terrans on Defiant, and
Can't have aliens on my flagship.
no,
With the exception of Phlox, because he's the doctor.
yes,
They only have one doctor, apparently.
and then they get the. Is it at that point then T'Pol is like, we can get the doctor to help us? So it's like,
Well, no, it's right after that Archer goes to the bridge and he's like, escort T'Pol to the Avenger, to the transporter room, transport her over. They take her gun and her blade, but she had already got the
oh yeah, the little
schematics.
the blue square SD whatever floppy disk.
Yeah. Wow. Something like that.
Whatever it was.
Hey,
The 23rd century SD card.
You know, It's got to be like 4 or 5 terabytes.
I think Data only had like. He didn't have that much memory. I don't know. The terabytes thing made me think of that. He only had like a couple of petabytes of memory. I don't know.
So they unleash their plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they try to
need-
convince Phlox.
Yes, they need Phlox to help them to disable the Defiant. Because now they can't go over there without arising suspicion.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're all aliens. So they're like, you have to be loyal to the Empire. You're saving the Emperor. There's no, if you save his life, there's nothing he can't refuse to give you.
Yeah.
The boon.
Right.
You'll have a laboratory, and you can do any experiment you want. Don't forget the females.
Yes, don't forget the females. You can have as many concubines as you want. It's like, oh.
And then Phlox is in.
Yeah. It's like, for the Emperor, sure. So, and he goes back on board to Defiant.
Goes to some engine thing.
Yeah. Pretty much back to that same
It's a redress
area.
of that redress.
Yeah. And he has to, like, take the vent thing off and then take the...
Plasma regulators or something.
Yeah.
He should have just
The big neon tubes.
broken the plasma regulators.
Put a bomb onto it and transport it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just silly. The whole thing.
But then we wouldn't have the rest of the episode, Curtis.
And
Sucker.
while that's happening, then T'Pol, Saval, and some other aliens just take over the bridge and start shooting
Well,
at Defiant.
So Paul got into a cat fight with Hoshi,
That's
which
right.
she won, but then the other guy shot her. And they
Yes.
brought her back to the Defiant after they found out she had downloaded the schematics.
Right.
Yeah. And
Saval took over the Avenger.
yeah.
He started shooting. They don't have main power because Phlox is taking out those regulators or whatever.
It's at
Archer's all like, oh,
no, at this point Archer's in a fetal position. You can see it off to the corner. It's just, why are you doing that?
He's upset. Ryan, he's going crazy.
Yeah.
This is peak crazy.
This is getting to peak crazy, yes. So they eventually get power back because Trip runs over to the corridor or wherever, and
Right.
he gets into a fight with
Phlox
Phlox.
hits him with a pipe.
Yeah.
Down goes Phlox.
easily repositions the.
Yep.
Ah,
Yeah. Ship's back to normal. Ship out of danger.
Yep. Ship out of danger.
Then they blow up the Avenger.
Yep.
Sucks to be any of the other non-aliens on board.
Yeah.
Rip.
So we get back to Archer and Hoshi. They're celebrating. And Hoshi gives him a drink. It's a good thing she grabbed the right glass for him.
She looked at it.
Yeah.
It's not pitch black like before
True.
because she's wearing a bra.
Yes. Well, gives him the drink. He's like, again, being Shakespeare-like, how he's gonna conquer the galaxy, the reign of Emperor Archer. And he starts spilling his drink into, like,
Drinking it from distance.
yeah. And then he starts writhing in pain.
Yeah. He was poisoned. Mm-hmm. She poisoned him.
there was poison.
Hoshi goes and grabs Mayweather, and then they kiss.
Yeah.
Like I said, he gets the best out of this situation.
Yeah. Then we
Now
get,
he's a bodyguard to an empress.
yes, we get to the
to
bridge. Yep. Get to Earth, and Hoshi's like, I'm the Empress now. And then
That's the end.
that's it. Fade to black.
Paul's dead. Phlox is dead. Archer is dead. Reed is likely dead.
They never really said what happened to Paul, but
Or Phlox, but it would make sense that
Probably.
after he would have killed them.
yeah. So yeah.
Horst is dead again. Saval is dead.
And that's
They're all dead.
That's the episode.
It's the episode.
great adventure.
I'm just a huge fan of 1960s architecture, recreated perfectly.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike another unnamed show.
Ooh. The graphics on the Defiant that the view screen could produce were way more high tech than just, they had that 3D cross section of the ship.
Oh, right, yes.
But, wow.
Ooh, nice.
I liked it when they get onto Defiant back in part 1. Or maybe it was part 2 at the beginning when Archer presses the buttons and then the little thing pops out of, for the gun.
Marketing,
It's like,
yeah.
ooh.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Because then Mayweather uses that later on when they destroy the fleet. He's
Target destroyed. Yeah, it's just great.
Final thoughts.
The characters are kind of stupid, but it's just kind of a fun romp.
Yeah.
So you forget about it because it just keeps happening, it keeps moving along. So their stupidity doesn't have enough time to sink in.
Yes.
Yeah, Scott Bakula is like on the verge of overacting. Like he might be overacting, but it just
works
Yeah,
in context.
it's entertaining.
I like the bit he's sitting in the captain's chair, and I think he's doing like a William Shatner impersonation.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, yes.
It's very, very Kirk-esque at some points.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Ryan, your thoughts?
It's good. It was,
I mean, Curtis.
yeah. Yes. I am Curtis.
Or did you say you were me? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Good episode, good two-parter. It's fun because, the first time that I remembered watching Mirror Universe was, I think, DS9. Because I think later on then I watched the original television series Mirror Universe. So it was like, oh, this is a cool return, cool setup for what we would then discover later.
you're not bottled down in a we have to get back to our universe plot,
Sure.
which is a nice novelty for
Yep.
these things.
Yeah, they were able to really just do whatever with the characters because
Who cares?
could, yeah.
yeah.
Writers must have had a pretty fun time with this.
Well, they killed off characters left and right.
Just like, let's do whatever.
Might as well.
Yeah.
All right.
If you viewers have also watched Star Trek Enterprise In a Mirror Darkly, Part 1 and 2, maybe leave us a comment. Tell us your feelings about it. If you have any questions or, I don't know, complaints, like and subscribe.
Curtis could have just dubbed it
And subscribe.
with random footage. But nope, here we are.
And like the comments.
I'm just stretching this out at this point.
Subscribe to the commenters.
What should we talk about next week?
Well, we could talk about Futurama, because you watched that one episode where the guy was like, I thought time was circular.
Oh, right.
And then we kind of get to that point in
The late Philip J. Fry, in like the last season or whatever,
Oh.
when
they have the forward time machine. They get to the end of the universe, but then it restarts. It's because it's a big circle.
time is circular.
Right.
Although
I mean,
it wouldn't
we don't
have,
need to watch those.
it wouldn't have worked with the way he was doing it with the cryogenics, because that machine would have been destroyed.
That's true.
So,
Good call.
but still interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah.
We'll figure out what we're watching next week.
Wow.
Next week.
Look at this. Pre-planning. Lol.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Oh,
Build a pillow fort.
I never turned my light on in the background. Oh,
That's unfortunate.
it's okay.
Oh, well.
Curtis, you got all these pillows. We could make a pillow fort.
That's true.
And then a blanket fort to go against them.
Could do that.
Does this mean we have to do a community episode?
Yes, that's where I was going with that,
Ah.
Ryan. You figured it out.
I mean, that's
Cool.
what I figured it was.
Cool.
Pop culture.
Pop culture reference.
On a TV show. This is the movie. Abed.
That would be